So the message is nowhere near good enough, and I've got to take responsibility. Strong words from the manager.
Yeah, strong words, but he's being honest. He's got to take responsibility. He's so down there, but he's only down because of the way his team have performed. Consequently, they've lost the game. They didn't deserve to win the game, and Ange knows that. Play like that, you're going to get beat. This is a London derby. The crowd are baying for blood when you go to the bridge, hence the record that they've got there. And these players went out there and started a game that looked like they were out on a Sunday stroll. There was no venom about them with the ball, not just tackling and putting your foot in and going for head. There was no venom in their play. There was no real positivity. They struggled to put 3 passes together at times. And that's due to mentality of the team, the mentality of the players, individually and collectively. When you go 1-0 down, playing like that half-time, you've got to come out and you've got to show some character. You've got to show some guts to go and receive the ball, get the ball, want the ball under pressure. They didn't do that. And Chelsea actually just sort of bobbed along second half without playing particularly fantastic themselves, and they end up getting the second goal, game, set and match. And that's why he's so disappointed and upset.
He looked very flat, didn't he, in the interview? He looked very flat. And it's like we said before, it's the most animated that I've ever seen him on the side of a football pitch. He was trying to demand from his players. I think he was trying to make them play forward. And they're recognised this season for being uber attacking and good to watch. You know, in the first half there was 0 shots on target, so you can see his frustration. I like him. I think he speaks very honestly in his interviews, but yeah, he looked very flat there, and rightly so.
Yeah, one more thing that he mentioned was the foul for their opening goal. So he agrees with Glenn, not with
not
Gary.
me.
So I think it's a foul, but I don't think they get given unless Johnson goes to the ground. And then you're making a decision for the referee and VAR. Oh, was that enough to knock him to the ground? He stays on his feet, but Cucurella is not interested in this free kick at all. He's not interested in going for the ball. He just sort of asks. It's an old-fashioned obstruction. It obstructs him from going to get the ball to defend it. It's dreadful defending because there's 2 centre-backs unmarked on the back post. They've got an overload, big guys as well. Johnson's only a little guy. And the ball is absolutely perfect, and the header, well, even better. What a header that is, Gary. You'd be proud of that yourself, mate.
Certainly, yeah, it's a great finish, wasn't it? But we've done this many times in training, you know, where you block. You might have somebody start on the front post, and for example, he might spin to finish at the back post. As he spins, there'll be two players whose sole job is to just block the markers. And that's what I saw there. I can see the frustration with Ange because it's looks kind of an obstruction, but for me there's just not enough in that. And like I said, unless he's pulling a shirt or he's literally grabbing hold of him, he's kind of using his body to hold his position, and I just think that there wasn't enough in it for me.
11 goals conceded in 2024 from set-piece situations, Glenn, for Spurs now. We heard Ange saying that, you know, he made it clear. He said, it's not my priority. He'd been asked about it in the build-up to this game, and he's been undone twice tonight.
Yeah, there's too many, isn't it? And it's a pattern. When you're a manager, you look at patterns, and if you're conceding goals in a certain way, you've got to then do the work. He says take responsibility, yes, but then you have to go and work on the training ground. How are we going to put this right? How are we going to stop these balls going? If you get a bad back, if your back keeps going on you, what do you do? In the end, you have to go and see a chiropractor. You have to get it sorted. They've got a problem. They're letting him set plays. Get it sorted. Sort it out on the training ground.
Well, Trevor Chalobah there, player of the match officially. He scored the opening goal and was part of that back line that kept a clean sheet. Spoke very well too.
He did, yeah, and I mean a lot to him. You know, he's been at the club since a young boy, so he knows what that club's about. He's been through the academy all the way up now to breaking into the first team. And like I said, he even speak at a young age of 24. I think because the squad's so young, I think he probably feels that responsibility, which I thought he took too well today, to be that kind of leader, which Chelsea do need. So I thought he had an excellent game. Like we said, I thought his header was fantastic. So he should be very pleased tonight.
Yeah, here's that second goal we spoke about and just showed you briefly. Glenn, you're very upset about the Tottenham defending.
Well, listen, Son and Højbjerg go in there. Look, it's a great free kick. He's a bit unlucky. It comes out. Go and challenge the man. They're both running back. They're getting each other's way, but there's got to be a challenge. That ball bounces down. It goes higher than the crossbar. You've got time. Now go and attack it and put the striker off. It's Jackson jumps, he does really well, but he's unopposed. If one goes towards the ball and challenges the striker, the other one can cover the keeper and go back on the line. In the end, they get in each other's way, and neither of them make an attempt to clear it. But it's good centre forward play. He's the one that's followed in. He's bright as a spark. It's hit the bar, come out, and he's got his goal on that intent.
It's about the reaction, though, isn't it? Like, I think Jackson reacted quicker. You see the wall turned and just watched. You know, they didn't really get back into to try and react. And ultimately, both defenders there made the same decision. You know, if one challenges and one covers, I think that's obviously in hindsight is a better approach. But yeah, you would have hoped someone would challenge him if you're from a Tottenham point of view. I think this one had bounced, just as it bounced there, Højbjerg to challenge. Even if you don't win the ball, maybe you put him off, maybe you knock into him, maybe his header's not as good as what it is there, because take nothing away from that free kick and take nothing away from this finish, because he's seen the two defenders and managed to loop that over them. They've got no chance at that point. But I think, you know, certainly he would have probably expected, Jackson, sorry, would have probably expected to be challenged for that header.
We saw the stats there, 11 goals this season, 4 of them against Spurs, because he got a hat-trick in the first game. He loves playing against Spurs, doesn't he?
He does, doesn't he? Yeah, he's just got to visualise he's playing Tottenham every game.
What I found interesting as well from that Chalobah interview was the fact that he said they spent so much time this week on those dead ball situations. It was a big focus for them.
Yeah, I think, listen, most teams spend a lot of time on set plays, attacking and defending. But they probably saw that when you do a zonal from a wide free kick, sometimes you leave some of the smallest ones at the very far post, the last men, which Johnson wasn't one of the biggest ones. You're intended to put your big men, your better headers of the ball in that centre, and they go back in the centre, but they outnumbered him. They had 2 centre-backs on the side, and Cucurella doing the little bit of blocking, and it worked an absolute treat. From the coach's point of view, from a set play scenario, it's great when that comes off. It's a great feeling on the bench, and you feel that collectiveness, don't you? Because you've worked at something and it's come off in a game. Brilliant feeling. And
does that surprise you that he said that they've worked on it when you look at what we saw earlier on when we were analysing Tottenham's set pieces? You know, they're targeting that, and teams are targeting that now, which is strange why Ange does not kind of respond in a stronger manner, you know, and say, look, this needs addressing, we're going to sort this out, on the training ground, because that's where you do sort it out.
Ball performance by Chelsea, following up their second half display against Aston Villa, where they scored 2 goals to equalise 2-2 against Aston Villa and nearly won it. And then again another 19 minutes, and that means they have played 1.5 matches without conceding a goal. You know what that means? A team that have been conceding 3 goals, 2 goals almost every match. That a team that went almost 19 games conceding goals match after match. All of a sudden they are not conceding goals since Pochettino drafted Cucurella into midfield, like inverted him into midfield. As from left back, he's playing left back and midfield at the same time, and they look a different team. Well, that's talking about a coach, you know, one way or another doubling into a tactics that looks solid, that will bring out the best in his team, and that's what we are seeing right now. If you look at that Chelsea, the way they defended in the second half of this match against Spurs, and then keeping a clean sheet, winning 2 goals to nothing, then you know that there is something building up. And it's something I'm sure that Pochettino will work on and try and refine and try and make better heading into next season. While 2 goals, 1 goal in the first half and another goal in the second half, a goal in the first half by Chalobah, and then in second half by Jackson. I mean, 2 headers. Chelsea scoring 2 headers from 2 set pieces to win 2 goals to nothing. That's classic Chelsea. You know, once again, doing a league double over Tottenham Hotspur. And you know that Chelsea, they are currently 8th in the table. Tottenham fighting for top 4 with Aston Villa. The 4th place with Aston Villa, and Chelsea producing 2 good performances against 2 teams fighting for the 4th position in the league. You know, that tells you that they are onto something here, and maybe the owners of Chelsea will have to rethink sacking Pochettino, maybe giving him another season, because definitely they are going to get better next season, and getting better next season means fighting for top 4. Yeah, that's where I see them, because definitely they are going to add 1 or 2 players. as in when the market opens, transfer window opens, they are going to add a few players. And then what they have learned, the coaching crew, what they have learned of this season, talking about knowing the players better and knowing the injury situation of some of these players better, taking it into next season, and the way they have, dabbled into a solid tactics heading into next season. Oh wow! If they build on this, they could be onto something next season. So I think that for Chelsea, once and for all, they need continuity, and if they can have it with Pochettino, no problem. And I think it will be a solid opportunity for them to have a coach for 2 seasons with these young stars. Changing coaches with young stars is never the best thing, because these guys are not tactically 100% knowledgeable at the moment. They are not experienced enough that if you change tactics, they will get used to it immediately. No, it has to take them time to be able to understand what the managers are saying. So that's why at this stage it's better for them to roll with the same manager for 2 seasons, and then see where that lays them, and if there is a possibility of making a change. But so far so good. This last 1.5 games for Chelsea is definitely something that need to build on. Solid performances, another clean sheet for against Aston Villa in the second half, and clean sheet against Tottenham for 90 minutes, and these are 2 very, very good teams. Solid performance for Chelsea.